Emily Mayfield, Mrs. Baker Mayfield, took to Instagram, tweeted this out, saying he's A-OK. And so Baker Mayfield, asymptomatic. You can tell he lost the game. She said, I definitely won the game. You can tell Baker lost the card game there. So you can tell he doesn't take losing kindly. But again, Doug, in all seriousness, if in fact all the reports are Baker's asymptomatic, that's great. Means he likely only misses one game and is back at it. Just got to find a way to win the Raiders game and get to the next one.
Yeah, we were having a discussion on our Orange and Brown Talk podcast that came out Thursday about the idea of a must-win and what does a must-win mean. And certainly you start to break down the rest of the season in the AFC North, and you can come to an idea that maybe 9-8 wins that division. And so the Browns are 7-6, and so it's going to depend who you beat. It might be make sure one of those wins for the Browns would be over the Bengals in the final week of the season, but it's not a must-win because they don't have to go 4-0. To make the playoffs, right? Nobody thinks that they have to get to 11-6. I've been operating under the assumption they have to be 10-7, and a lot of people have been operating under the assumption that at Green Bay on Christmas Day is going to be a tough slog. But I also watched the Packers in their first half against the Bears last week, and they made some mistakes. They weren't perfect, and then Aaron Rodgers just started flipping touchdowns in the second half. But every minute we talk, this game gets tougher and tougher on Saturday. The season's not over if they don't win. And the thing is, if they don't win, they're going to have every excuse in the world. I think the biggest problem would have been to lose this game normally. Like, hey, we're 7-6, we're back in it, here we go. It's the Raiders at home, we should win this game. Oh, the Raiders beat us. Because then it's a loss and you're questioning yourself. Man, they're hanging on by their fingernails. So the loss will hurt, but then they can try to rally around it. We don't know what COVID's going to do to the rest of the league. Again, right now there are 3 teams with a number of players in the teens who are on the COVID list: Browns, Rams, and Washington football team. But if it's happening to them this week, maybe it's going to happen to other teams in future weeks. You don't hope that it does, but maybe it will. So this might be a whole jacked up last month. So it just, as I think, again, every minute it gets harder to see how the Browns can win, but simultaneously you start to entertain things where, well, maybe a loss is more survivable than we would have thought a week ago, when it did kind of feel like, okay, well, they got to at least beat the Raiders.
Yeah, and to your point, all teams in the AFC North have brutal Final Four games. The Browns are all tough. All of the Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers games are equally as tough. 2 of them are crossovers where they play each other. So to your point, there's a lot that can happen Final 4 weeks.